Most Christians believe in God. That's not the hard part. The hard part is what comes after belief, the daily, unglamorous, often inconvenient decision to actually walk with Him. We fill our Sundays. We say the right things. We post the scriptures. But somewhere between Sunday morning and Monday afternoon, the connection quietly fades. And most of us don't even notice until we're already far from where we started. The drift doesn't happen overnight. It happens one skipped morning at a time, one distraction accepted, one conversation with God postponed until tomorrow becomes never. But here's what the Bible makes clear. God doesn't just invite us to believe in Him. He calls us to walk with Him. Enoch walked with God. Abraham walked with God. David walked with God through caves and thrones alike. And none of their lives looked the same after they started moving. Today we're going to look at 5 specific things that begin to happen when walking with God becomes your daily reality, not just a Sunday intention. By the end of this video, you may realize the breakthrough you've been waiting for doesn't begin with a change in circumstances. It begins with a change in direction. Let's begin. Number 1. One of the first things that changes when you walk with God daily is the quality of your decisions. Not because you suddenly become smarter, but because you're no longer deciding alone. The world calls it gut instinct, intuition, trusting yourself, and those things can take you far. But there's a difference between trusting yourself and being led by someone who already knows the outcome. When you walk with God daily, you start bringing your decisions into that relationship before you make them. Proverbs tells us that when we acknowledge God in everything we do, He makes our path straight, not easier, straight. You begin to sense when something is off. You pause before you once would have rushed. Ask yourself this week, what decision are you trying to figure out on your own that you haven't actually brought to God? Number 2, the second thing that happens is your peace becomes unshakable, and that will confuse the people around you. The world says peace comes from having everything under control. Enough money, enough security, enough certainty about tomorrow. But those things can disappear overnight. And if your peace is built on them, it disappears with them. When you walk with God daily, Philippians tells us that His peace, a peace that goes beyond anything our minds can manufacture, begins to guard your heart. Not guard it from hard things. Guard it through them. The disciples were in a storm. Jesus was asleep in the boat. Not because the storm wasn't real, because His confidence wasn't in the weather. Where is your peace coming from right now? If the answer is anything that can be taken from you, it's worth examining. Number 3. The third thing that happens is that God begins redirecting your life, and some of that redirection comes through closed doors. We've been taught to push harder when a door won't open, hustle louder, try a different angle. But when you walk closely with God, you begin to see closed doors differently, not as failure, as protection, as redirection. God sees around corners you haven't reached yet, the job that didn't work out, the relationship that ended, the plan that fell apart. Joseph's brothers threw him in a pit, and it became the path to a palace. What looks like a detour in your hands is often a design in God's. Stop spending your energy forcing open what God is closing. Start trusting that what He's protecting you from is real, even when you can't see it. Number 4. The fourth thing that happens is the one most people aren't prepared for. God starts changing you, not just your circumstances. Most of us pray for God to fix something outside of us. Fix the marriage, fix the finances, fix the other person. But walking with God daily does something far more permanent. It changes the person doing the praying. The things that once had power over you slowly begin to lose it. Not overnight, not without effort. But there is a quiet, steady transformation that takes place when you stay close to Him. The fruit of the Spirit Paul describes: love, patience, peace, self-control. These aren't things you manufacture. They're what grows naturally when you stay rooted in the right soil. The real question isn't whether your situation has changed. It's whether you have. Number 5. The fifth thing that happens when you walk with God daily is that your faith stops being theoretical and starts being proven. Easy seasons feel good, but they don't build anything. Faith that has never been tested is just an opinion about God. It's the difficult seasons, the ones where you had no other option but to trust Him, that turn belief into something unshakable. When you walk with God consistently, you begin to see trials differently, not as evidence that God has abandoned you, but as evidence that He trusts you with something that will make you stronger. James tells us to count it all joy when we encounter trials, because the testing of our faith produces endurance. That's not toxic positivity. That's a promise backed by everything God has already proven. Stop asking why this is happening to you. Start asking what God is building in you through it. Here's what we've covered today. When you walk with God daily, your decisions gain clarity. Your peace becomes unshakable. The right doors open at the right time. You are changed from the inside out, and your faith becomes proven through every season you survive. None of these things happen by accident. None of them happen from a distance. They happen when walking with God stops being something you do on Sunday and becomes something you do every single day. Ask yourself honestly today, are you walking with God, or are you just believing in Him from a distance? There's a difference, and the gap between those two things may be the gap between the life you're living and the life you were made for. If this message challenged you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Walk with Him for more Bible-based encouragement every week. We're not here to make you feel good. We're here to help you walk closer to God. May God give you the courage to take the next step and the faithfulness to keep walking. God bless you.